Chinese EVs. They're cheap, they're crappy, they're dangerous. And we're playing with fire if we let any more of them in. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. Let's check in with how YouTube has been suppressing the show this week. B. Frayed says, bro, it's been like 2 weeks and I never received notifications. And I thought you guys were taking a break. Bro, WTF, I have the bell activated. Why is this happening to me? I missed like 10 episodes. Imagine how much bigger China Uncensored would be. Imagine how many more people would be informed about the CCP if YouTube weren't running cover for China. If you really want to be notified about new episodes, sign up for my free weekly newsletter at chinauncensored.substack.com. You'll get a list of all the episodes I made that week, plus exclusive content that you won't get anywhere else. When it comes to manufacturing, China is all about quantity over quality. Most of the time, that just means that the little tyke's toy breaks about 5 minutes after he starts playing with it. But sometimes the consequences are much more dire. Take, for example, Chinese electric vehicles. They are everywhere these days, from Tajikistan to South Africa to Brazil. And they're clogging up more than just the roads. In China, there are already graveyards for abandoned vehicles, left to decay because of bankrupt companies, massive oversupply, or car sharing programs gone horribly awry. It's the one graveyard where you don't have to worry about grave robbers. Wow, what a fantastic way to combat pollution, using filthy Chinese coal plants to create tons, and I do mean tons, of cheap, crappily made EVs, with equally cheap, crappily made batteries that'll contaminate nearby soil and water. Brilliant! This is like trying to combat the opioid epidemic by passing out free needles, which Portland learned wasn't the best strategy. And now, China is exporting this brilliant model to other countries. For example, last week, Australians discovered stranded Chinese electric vehicles with no number plates covered in protective wrapping and shipping labels used before cars reached showrooms. They were stored without permission from local authorities in an unusual spot. A water park. Yes, electric cars at a water park. It feels like a Final Destination death where the writers gave up on being creative.
Jambro Action Park south of Sydney is storing thousands of cars for BYD, the Chinese electric car giant that represents one of the fastest growing brands on the road. BYD stashed almost 2,000 cars in Jambro's car park during the winter when the car park was closed.
Why, a theme park of all places? Well, nobody was using the parking lot during the winter, which is the summer for all of us northerners, where the toilet flushes clockwise like the Lord intended. But even when the parking lot opened up to the public, the cars were still left there.
The water park is now open for summer and its car park are still filled with unsold EVs. People aren't happy. Residents have complained to Kiama Council saying the water park has become a graveyard for unsold cars which came from Port Kembla's shipping terminal, which is a half-hour drive from up the road.
But on the bright side, with the parking lot now a graveyard, they're all ready for spooky season. Halloween came early. This is a disaster waiting to happen. In fact, all of these car graveyards are. Remember, Chinese companies are being incentivized by the government to make tons of cars, but not good cars. They have the same philosophy as the all-you-can-eat Sizzler. Yeah, it's terrible, but it's a lot of terrible. They're so focused on making as many cars as possible cheaply that they put safety on the back burner. Emphasis on burner, because this is the result. Just look at the Chinese internet, and you'll see that there are tons, and I mean tons, of video clips proving that Chinese EVs are absolute death traps, just waiting to ignite under the right circumstances. AKA at any moment, even if the car is just parked. These graveyards are a minefield, except minefields are somehow safer because you need to actually step on one, while these blow up all on their own. Meanwhile, rather than spend more time and resources improving safety standards, Chinese companies put more effort into maintaining a good image, which sadly isn't fireproof. This clip perfectly demonstrates my point. Here you can see an EV on fire in Anhui province. The manufacturer's personnel came to the scene to help? No! To remove all the brand logos from the vehicle to prevent the company from getting bad publicity. Again, what a great way to help the environment. Let's create flammable metal pieces of crap that emit toxic fumes. A lot of these self-immolations are due to crappy batteries. But it's not just poorly designed batteries that we have to worry about, it's the entire vehicle. The Xiaomi SU7 is the perfect example of what I'm getting at. On October 13th this year, a Xiaomi SU7 caught fire after a collision in Chengdu. Firefighters tried to put out the fire with water, but it didn't work. Meanwhile, several bystanders tried to help, but they couldn't open the door. They tried smashing the window to save the driver, but to no avail. Turns out the door was electronically locked, because you can't call it a death trap without them being literally trapped. And here you thought I was being hyperbolic. Upon closer examination, this Nesson discovered that the car's door handle was horribly designed. It consisted of just 2 micro switches and a light. Seriously, how do you mess up something as simple as a door handle? This wasn't the first time Xiaomi SU7s came under fire, both from the public and literally. This woman claims that her niece was among 3 people who were burned alive, trapped in a Xiaomi SU7 with the doors locked. This Xiaomi SU7 owner claims his car didn't deploy airbags in a crash. And this Xiaomi SU7 owner claims that his car suddenly went from 95 kilometers per hour to 33, resulting in a rear-end collision. This car has a higher body count than Christine. You know, I bet Stephen King could get a lot of good ideas from China. Not probably too horrifying even for him. And yet Chinese EV companies are selling their cars with stunts like this. Man, I really wouldn't want to be that driver. Death from Final Destination is like, hey, quit trying to take my job. And now, these portable explosive devices, cars, are on roads and in car graveyards all over the world. And they're even lighting up the oceans. Earlier this year, a ship carrying EVs from China to Mexico caught fire. Now, part of the reason Chinese EVs are everywhere is because the cars are, in fact, quite affordable. But there's a reason for that, beyond the fact that they're absolute crap. The CCP has been supporting companies like BYD through direct subsidies, as well as other means like rebates, military collaboration, and forced labor. Because what's the point in going green if it doesn't involve unfathomable human suffering? The Center for Strategic and International Studies calculates that from 2009 to 2023, the Chinese government spent over $230 billion on its EV industry. All that Chinese government support, as well as insane price cuts Chinese companies have been implementing to out-survive each other, has resulted in Chinese EV companies flooding the world with way more cars than popular demand can handle. This is intentional. These EVs are part of the Chinese government's systematic effort to conquer foreign markets, integrate its systems into foreign electric and data infrastructure, and potentially even position itself to conduct espionage. Now, some might argue that EV problems aren't unique to China. After all, there are many stories you can find out there of Tesla's malfunctioning. But it's not even close to the same scale. Chinese EVs are a public and environmental menace. I didn't even touch on Chinese EV data collection and how that poses a security threat. But why let security and safety concerns get in the way of slightly cheaper, definitely riskier rides to prove that we're saving the environment? As well as the graveyard industry, just in time for spooky season. And remember, if by some miracle you actually found this video, click this button to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter so you don't have to rely on YouTube to let you know about the next one, because otherwise, I'll never see you again. And that would make me sad. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching.